Faceless Tap House. I know it's a sight for sore eyes after the last video not being here at all, but we are back. Our dog is being very impatient today. He's super excited, so we are going to start with him. And I'm not going to take the camera off for you to show him. You're just going to take our word for it if he likes it or not.
All right, buddy. You got two little ones. Here you go. And number two.
He did not enjoy the first one because he was too focused on it. He was too focused on the second one. All right, so as you see, we have double bombers here today. Why we're doing that? Because we got back on Monday, right? Monday? Mm-hmm. We got back Monday and didn't feel good. And then we got busy on Tuesday when you get to drink one. So we pretty much missed Monday through Thursday of beer. So basically this whole episode, we're just going to be double up so we can get ahead. I just told her we could push it back from the 25th and just move it on and keep going for the month. And she said no. So here we are. First up, we have the Rare Barrel, which is out of Berkeley, California. They basically specialize in sours there. And this is one of a few that we've had from them. So I'm really excited to look forward to it. This beer is called Summer's Gonna Hurt You. It's 7.3%. It's got a 4.3 rating on Untappd, which is a really high rating. As we've talked about other ratings before, so you know that. This was made with 4,000 pounds of stone fruit. So they went to a local, like a local orchard. If they're called orchards, I'm not really sure what they're called for.
Peaches.
And peaches is stone fruit, babe.
Peaches and nectarines.
Yeah. So stone fruits are things like peaches and nectarines. So they put 2,000 pounds of peaches and 2,000 pounds of nectarines. And what's really impressive is they went and handpicked them, and then they pureed them and everything themselves to prep it for this beer, which is pretty impressive. That many pounds of things. So 4,000 pounds have went into their barrels that they were doing. And then they took that and then they aged it for 4 months in oak barrels. So I'm going to just really excited, so I just want to go ahead and give it a try.
Definitely all sour tasting.
It's definitely sour. Yeah, this sour is very
carbonated.
It's very sour. It's very tart, but you really get all the flavors you're supposed to get for me. So drinkability, you're going to want to sip on a little bit because it is heavy carbonated. There's a lot of sours. Drink it too quick, it might give you even a little funny taste on your back of your tongue or in your stomach. So you want to sip on it. But for the taste for style, everything that it says is in there. You even get that oak barrel taste. You get the nectarine. You get the peach, which are very similar in flavors anyway, so it works out. So I don't know if I can distinctly tell between both of them, but it tastes like them. I'm going to take another drink of it. Big fan. I think for me, I'm going to give it a 3/4 pour final overall rating. Just because of how sour it is and how tart it is. It's a little too sour on the one side for me. I normally like my sours to be a little less and a little more flavorful than sour. And it's a little more sour than fruit.
So as he said, yeah, you can definitely taste the nectarines, you can taste the peaches, was it? Yeah. So those are very prominent in there. Can't really distinctively tell the difference, but they're obviously very similar. Very heavy carbonation. I think that's just because of the fruit. And fun fact, for sours, you do need to try and roll the bottles because we've learned from experience that all of that fruit will actually sit in the bottom. So if you do get any sour beers, it's kind of nice to just roll them around before you actually pull them out.
Yes, that's huge because that Apocalypse Cal that we had
it
last
tastes
time,
a lot different. That was even an IPA. So.
Yeah, I didn't even roll it all the way. And there was a bunch of sediment, and then our beers even tasted slightly different. But I do want to, before we move on to your beer, do a quick recap. When we were at the cabin on the last episode and we did the Big Baptist Reserve, and I said that we gave it a rating, I gave it a 3/4 pour. I'm going to move that up to a full pour because we let that sit. We did some other things. Stop, fatty. You're being fat. We did some other things, and as it sat there, everything that was supposed to be in there came out. The beer became a lot more enjoyable, a lot more drinkable.
It was really good.
And it was fantastic. So that beer, we didn't do it any justice on the show because we drank it a little too cold. We let that warm up to probably even over 55 degrees. It was probably in the 60-degree range before I really started enjoying it. So I'm going to raise that up to a full pour because it was really good. Ignore him. He's going to do that.
So a lot of the beers do actually, some of the beers, when they're more expensive beers, will tell you to serve at a certain temperature and cellar at certain temps. So this Rare Barrel actually tells you at 44 degrees. kind of hard to tell what the temperatures are, but this one over here says 54 degrees, so obviously we're going to need that to be a little warmer, so we're waiting for that last.
We're doing that one second because of that. These probably are getting up in that 40-degree range. Our fridge is normally only around 40 anyway, so this is probably at serving temperature. This one might be a little cold, so we'll drink it and then we'll talk about it, and then we'll try it again at the end.
So I think I'm also going to give this one a 3/4 pour. I actually usually really love sours. Maybe it's just because of all the beer we had in Nashville. We didn't, have a lot of sours, and we had some really good sours at Funkworks. Or Funkatorium.
Funkatorium of...
Stop, buddy.
He's going to want, because he is fat, and he really wants his treats, and he's just going to have to wait, so you're just going to have to deal with it too.
Yeah, so we had a lot of sours at Funkatorium that were pretty good. So I'm going to give this one a 3/4 pour. Not a bad beer, just a lot of upfront sour and a ton of carbonation right now.
Okay. Want to tell me about yours?
So this one we have here is Nightmare on Bread. As you know, it's Friday the 13th, so we thought we would kind of go with a nice little themed beer. Coming in at 9.666%. This is the 2018 version, so they do make a few different ones with different fruit in the different variants. It is a dark sour aged in Leopold whiskey barrels with Washington raspberries. Both of these beers actually have fruit fresh from farms nearby that they use local farms. And go ahead and give this a try. It is a 4.27, so both of these were about a 4.3 on Untappd rating. So taste for style, I definitely can taste a little bit of the whiskey barrels. You kind of get that darker, heavier taste. And then the raspberries are really, really prominent. Really good flavor, not overpoweringly sour.
Drinkability?
Drinkability, I mean, it tastes exactly like it's supposed to. You get that little bit of whiskey taste. You get that strong raspberry flavor. Pretty easy drinking. Definitely don't want to pound it. It is a little bit heavier. It's a little bit darker. And it has a little bit of a sour taste, but I think I'm going to give this one a full pour.
Full pour. Okay. So, fun thing about Brett is when they use Brett to brew, they have to keep it separated from everything else because it is a very quick moving bacteria. So we learned on one of our tours that if a Brett gets out, like if they don't have everything completely sealed or sterilized, it will infect all of the barrels in a building. So we were actually at a beer fest and there was a person that had Brett on tap, and he's like, I'm surprised that they're letting me be this close to all their fermenters and everything. He's like, they must be really cautious about their sterilization going forward. So Brett is very dangerous to work with. Home brewing, I've looked into using it, but like if you use it, sterilizing it can be very difficult. So I'm probably going to avoid it for a while. But as you were saying, you do get a barrel taste. You get a ton of raspberry, which I like. Love raspberries. So it's really good. Drinkability is easier to drink than this one. Lower carbonation in it. That might be from the Brett, I think. Brett does have a distinct taste. When you drink a beer that has used Brett as like a souring agent, you can always tell that it's in there. I can't really describe the taste, but it's in here. So the more beers you drink with Brett, the more you'll taste of it. So it's in there, tastes like it's supposed to. Taste for style is way up there. Drinkability is really easy. And this is a golden sour, so you can see the difference. This is a golden sour. They also make, like, we've had the Berlin style sours. There's like slushies and all the different stuff. But you can see that there's golden and then there's dark. And I myself prefer the dark sours. So this is really good. Big fan. I'm gonna give it a full pour as well. So.
All right, buddy. Last drink. I can have one more sip. That's it. Was it good? Did you taste it?
He doesn't look overly impressed.
He wants more.
He's like, I need more.
That's it, bud. That's all gone. He's like, what there's all about.
We have an entire flight. Why did we do that? Because we haven't added this to any part of the Bomber Ramen calendar. She's been complaining that she hasn't got to say my slogan / catchphrase the whole time. Happiness is only a flight away, because we just do bombers. So I have given her the opportunity today to do that. So we have 4 beers for you. We're going to do like a normal show, maybe a little bit quicker than normal because this is going to be added on to the other videos, but still full of information, hopefully. And we got some serious winners, so I definitely want to dedicate the time to them. So first up, we have Anchorage Brewing Company's Together Again. It's like 8.4, 8.6%. It's a double IPA. Anchorage Brewing Company is making some of the best beers in the country right now. And the bad thing is they're so far away, they're so disconnected from the actual continental United States that you can't get them out here. You can't get them, and it's a disappointment because they're fantastic. Now, Anchorage makes brewing collaborations with some of the top brewers in the country because their beers are fantastic. And they also make some with like Omni Palo, some lambics with some of the other. Our dog is still here in case you were wondering. They make some heavy bangers even with some foreign people. So they make beer that is recognized around the world and they don't get enough love. So I'm going to drink this one today together again. Cheers. Just like the show. Wow. I really like that. So this is brewed with Amarillo hops. But it's like a New England hazy IPA. So it's dry hopped again heavily. And it's dry hopped with Galaxy hops and Strata hops. So I get the Amarillo base, and I know that because I actually just dry hopped an IPA myself with Amarillo, so I know exactly what those taste like, the profile that it's coming with. So I get that, but the Strata and the Galaxy work together very well. We don't see Strata hops out here too often. It's actually probably maybe one or two beers that I actually speak of, but the chemistry to them are actually working very well together. However, if you wouldn't like this style of IPA, if you wouldn't like how sweet this is, because it's kind of a sweet because of those hops, you probably wouldn't be a huge fan. Drinkability, this is crushable. I could house this, drink this with no problem at all. Taste for style, it tastes like a New England IPA, it tastes like the hops. Very well done. Final overall rating, I'm going to give it a full pour. Very, very impressed. I like it a lot.
Yeah, so like you said, the hops really complement each other really well. I personally am a pretty big fan of Amarillo. I've been kind of trying to keep track of which hops I like because there's some beers that just have an interesting hop. He sometimes particularly likes it, and I'm just like, oh, don't like that one, so I kind of try to stay away from those a little bit. But this one, those three hops really complement each other very well. Drinkability, as he said, really crushable. I don't remember what percent you said it was.
Like 8.6.
8.6, so it'll get you drunk if you drink a lot of them, and this is, you could easily just throw these back.
You could house this.
Yeah, they're not super hoppy. It has a little bit of that sweeter taste to it, which is great if you're not really into strong, really bitter beers. So great beer overall. I'm gonna give it a full pour.
Perfect. All right, move on to yours. I'll fix my chair.
Right here, we have Adroit Theory, pretty big up and coming. I don't know, really up and coming, but well-known brewery in the beer industry right now.
Killing it.
So this one is called Nolentropy. It is actually from their Ghost series, so it's Ghost 791. It is an Imperial IPA at 8%, coming in from Vint Hill, Virginia. Haven't really heard of Vint Hill, but there's some big breweries in Virginia. The Vale, the Answer, those
are the mass ones. And then the Hardywood that we had earlier in the show, that raspberry stout, was also from Virginia.
Yeah. Has a 4.1% or 4.1 rating on Untapped. And it actually is kind of cool because on the side of the can, don't know if you guys can see this at home right now, but it gives you a food pairing, a cheese pairing, and a cigar pairing. So that's kind of cool. We like when they have that kind of thing. Haven't really heard any of these foods on here, but pretty cool.
We're not fancy people, and we don't eat fancy cheeses, meats, and we don't smoke cigars. However, if you are into those things, this place does a fantastic job of making sure that you get that. I have a friend that smokes cigars, and he actually lives in Virginia, and he loves going there because he can pair his cigars with his beer, and he says it takes it to a whole nother level. So that's pretty sweet.
Give that one a try.
Sure.
Pretty cool color.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was just looking at. I like how it looks. This one looked nice too, but the color differential, depending on camera, it might look the same, but to us it looks a lot different.
That's a really good one. I'm not sure. I apologize. I did not write the hops down. I don't know if you recall which hops this has in it. It does not tell me. But this one is actually a really good hop profile as well. Very smooth, very drinkable again. Coming in at 8% will obviously get you drunk. I'm again going to give this one a full pour. Wow. I was going to say 4%, a full pour.
So drinkability, very easy to drink, very smooth. It is very easy. I already drank half of it without trying, so That says something. Taste for style, it tastes like an IPA, tastes like an American New England IPA. Very good. I'm not sure the hop profile that they used. I'm getting like a mosaic in there.
Definitely different from the other one.
Definitely getting a
Not
lot
that-
of definitely getting a lot
not
of
that
mosaic.
sweet flavor anymore.
So I'm getting the mosaic. It's a little more bitter than this one. So I'm thinking the bittering hop was a little different, which is all right. It's very nice. Yeah, there's definitely about 3 or 4 different hops in there because now that I'm sitting there, I'm getting a couple different ones. And it works very well. Like the chemistry of them is all very together. Taste for style is fantastic. Tastes like an IPA. My final rating is probably going to be a full pour too. I'm a big fan. I do like this IPA a little bit better though than this one, but this one is still solid. But I like this can art a little bit better. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's pretty neat. It's very ancient Egyptian time. So moving on to our actual bomber, the things that we're supposed to be reviewing this month. This is Collaboration, Not Litigation. It's like an 8.9% Belgian strong ale. Now Belgian strong ales are it's actually Belgian dark strong ale. They're a very unique color. So they could be an amber color like you would see on a Yingling. They could be like more of a brown like you would see here. Or they could be like a garnet color, like a darker garnet color. Flavor profile ranges a lot. I know you're not a huge fan of the Belgian strong ales.
Belgian a few days ago though, over on our trip. So Belgian.
Which one?
A quad. I'm trying to think what beer it was. I don't remember, but I think it was a Belgian. I don't know.
Not sure. So we drank a lot of beer on that trip. Really hard to remember all of them. Was it on the? Oh, you're talking about that was a triple. You're talking about this about the Penguin.
Oh yeah.
From Bowling Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a triple.
So that's a little bit different. That's a Belgian style like triple or double or quad. This is a Belgian style strong ale, which is like a dark ale. So it's going to be a little bit flavor different profile. These are very interesting because the flavors, the aromas, the color, they can really vary on like a wide range of things. Like some might be sweet malty, some might be like spicy and hoppy, like not really hoppy because they're not going to be bitter, but they might have like a hot taste to them. Aroma's going to be interesting. So I'm excited to see. Every time I try one, I like to try them. This is from Avery and Russian River. So I was
really great breweries,
right?
Yeah.
I was super pumped to try it. Avery, you've probably seen around for sure. They normally sell single 12-ounce bottles, high alcohol beers.
A little bit on the expensive side sometimes.
And expensive. But they have a green coating on top of them instead of silver. And Russian River, if you've ever heard of Pliny the Elder or Pliny the Younger, they are like the guys that make IPAs, West Coast style IPAs. They were the first to like perfect it. People travel all around the world to get Pliny the Younger. Only one place on the East Coast that I know of gets it, and that's because they know the owners of Russian River. So I've been overly excited to try this since we bought it. And I think this is aged year. I think this is a 2018 version. So, cheers.
It's hard to get him to drink the beer when he gets excited.
Not a lot of reason to be excited. Russian River, Avery, both make fantastic beers. So, drinkability, this one's pretty easy drinking too for 8.9%. You don't really get any alcohol flavor in it, which I was looking for. Taste for style, it tastes, like I said, there's a wide range. I'm getting like something on the back end that kind of tastes like an apple a little bit, which can happen. And you get like a little bit of apple, a little bit of caramel on that back end from the malt that they used. It's pretty nice, pretty enjoyable. My final rating, I'm going to give it a 3/4 pour. To me, it feels a little thin. I think that's what's doing it. Like, I drank it. If you have a thinner beer that's this style, like normally it helps if you make it boozier because it just has like a better, fuller effect. And it's not very boozy. So I think it's cutting some of that away and the flavor is kind of disappearing on me. So I'm going to give it a 3/4 pour. Still very good. I still like it a lot. But I think it could have been just slightly better.
Yeah, so as he said, I am getting kind of that apple caramel, almost kind of a cinnamon type flavor to it. Color, great color for what it is, a strong ale. Love the color. For the beer, like you said, a little bit kind of on the thin side. Not as flavorful as I was expecting for a strong ale. I think I'm going to give it a half pour.
You can go half pour.
Yeah, I think that's the first one we got. But...
She's taking a shot at this one. Not like in
Russian
River Avery today.
For almost 9%, I mean, it's very drinkable, but...
Okay, going on.
All right, so what we got here is I'm not sure, I'm probably going to butcher this name, but Escoveza Chard. This is from Stone Brewing in Escondido. We actually went there. I think he talked about it on his episode. Went and toured the brewery. It was pretty cool.
One of the best stores we've ever been on.
Oh yeah, it was
fantastic.
Awesome. The brewery itself, food wasn't bad. Beer selection was pretty great, but
had a big range of things, and they also had some serious age stuff, things from like 2013, 2014.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that anywhere.
Yeah, so
the
that
gardens
was
were
nice.
pretty cool. They had it all lit up, and you could walk around them, so it was cool. Great stop on the trip if you're ever out there. This one is the 2016 series. It's actually a mocha stout ale brewed with cocoa, coffee, and spices, aged in bourbon barrels. We out here near Kentucky like our bourbon barrels, so we're hoping this one's a good one. Fun fact, it is the base beer recipe from the Stone Homebrew Competition winner. So they took the base beer that everybody picked for him to win, and they used that to make their own beer. So it's pretty cool. It gives you a lot of facts about the mash, the boil, the special ingredients that they added, so you can kind of make your own form of it, which is pretty cool. And it was aged for 6 months, coming in at 9.6%. It's supposed to mimic a Mexican hot chocolate beer, so we will go ahead and give it a try and see if we get those hints of flavor in it. So I don't know what you get from it. I get the thicker taste, which I kind of like. It's a little bit more filling than the other one that we just had. I do get the charred kind of almost a little bit smoky taste to it. Roasted, I guess it would be. I don't know if I'm getting like I'm not getting like really a little bit of a spiced flavor. Not really tasting chocolate a ton, but drinkability, pretty drinkable. Kind of more of a warmer, definitely a more warm winter beer. And I think I will give this one a 3/4 pour.
Okay. So I'm actually feeling slightly different than you. So you said that you got like a full mouthfeel of it. If for a bourbon barrel aged stout, I'm thinking it's a little bit thinner, but also could have been like the part of the barrel that bottle that we poured into. Thing with bombers, some of these like beer will settle, and if you don't rule them, as she said on the yesterday, roll certain ones to bring things out. It doesn't hurt to roll some other beers just in case.
We don't normally roll stouts, but I mean, doesn't.
Yeah, so it's definitely thicker than this one.
Yeah,
for sure. But for a bourbon barrel aged stout, it tastes. It kind of has more of a mouthfeelness of the whiskey stouts that I was complaining about on our trip that we just came from, because like I'm expecting it to be more fuller bodied. And I think when I drink it, it reminds me of a Mexican hot chocolate. So it reminds me of the High Wire 10W40 that we have in the fridge, or actually it's in the cupboard right there. Maybe we'll do it on the show for you some other time like this. We'll see. But that one's actually a lot spicier though. It's a lot more chili flavor. It's a lot hotter. But I think the thing is with this one is it's saying it's mimicking a Mexican hot chocolate, but it doesn't have actually any of that burn to it. Like there's no chili pepper.
It's a little more mellow.
It's not getting. But I get the spice, I get the cocoa, I get all that. Drinkability, it's easy to drink. I have no problem drinking it. Taste for style, I get everything that's supposed to be in there. Mouth feels lacking a little bit to me for what a bourbon barrel stout would normally taste like. But after drinking this one, it definitely does feel a little bit fuller. Final overall rating, I think I'm going to give this one also a 3/4 pour. I like it a lot. Once again, I think they could have done a little bit better job. I think they would have added like flake notes or something. It would have made it like a much fuller mouthfeel. So, all right, this is your opportunity.
Well, cheers. Happiness is only a flight away. 2 days again. This is fun. Oh, there's a lot in there. Oh,
those are star-shaped. We haven't had those yet.
Stars. All right, how's that one? Good? Yeah? All right, let's do the next one. Oh, more stars. Geez, they did not switch it up very much on you, buddy. Maybe it's a different flavor. That one good?
Ooh, that one takes a long time to chew. Maybe that one's more peanut butter.
All right. I think you like the second one a little better. Give him a little more sustenance.
Moose.
Say bye.
What do you think, buddy? Was it good?
Good.
Strong ale for you. And our dog is extremely excited about his advent calendar today. So we might have to interrupt this to give him that if he starts being really bad. He is overly excited about this. It is his favorite part of the day. And we came downstairs because we have this is like basically our beer cellar, and we have a closet full of beer. We came down here to put some stuff away, and he came down here super excited, running around because he thought he was going to get it, and I was like, no, it's not time yet. So he's really excited, so we might have to interrupt this for that. But American Strong Ale. What I like about American Strong Ales is they basically blend a pale ale or ambers together. They take the maltiness of an amber and they take the hoppiness of a pale ale and they just shove it all in one. And same American Strong Ale. It's very unique. Now, they're not really bitter, but it gets like a ton of flavor and a ton of malty profiles, which is very interesting. And not too many other beers can do that and make it work well. So why don't you just tell them about this one?
So today here we have from Taps Fish House and Brewery. As he said, American Strong Ale. This one was brewed with dates and figs and aged in bourbon barrels. So Taps Fish House is a pretty cool place. They won a ton of gold medals and different awards and things. They have a whole entire wall. We were out there in California that we stopped there. Really cool stop. They had a restaurant and brewery, as I said, and a whole entire wall of all the awards they've won over the years. So this one actually won 2016 gold medal winner at Great American Beer Festival. And this actually is kind of a cool one. All of the sale, or a contribution of the sales, go to help Special Force warriors and their families.
I like that.
Yeah, so we'll give this one a try.
Wow. So the first thing that I noticed when I was pulling it up to my face is that it had a real strong smell to it.
Mm-hmm.
Before I even drank it, I wasn't even trying to smell it, but it has a fantastic smell on it. It's got a nice malty smell, kind of sweet. I think that's the date and the figs might even be coming out a little bit.
Mm-hmm. This one may be one of those ones that need to go sit a little bit and get a little warmer.
If it warms up, I think a lot of the flavor is going to come out still, but I still think it's very powerful. Drinkability for 10% and for being a strong ale, super easy drinking. Very, very, very easy drinking, actually. You could probably down this bottle if you needed to. You know, it's not very... Taste versatile. It tastes like a strong ale. It has the flavors that I was talking about. I think it's going to become more complex on your taste buds when you let it warm up. Mm-hmm. And so, once again, we're going to drink this one now, sample it, then I might just go open another beer and let this one warm up, and then when I'm done with that one, go ahead and do this one. Because I think it might make it more complex. But by itself, it tastes like everything it's supposed to taste like. I really like it. It's very fantastic. I'm giving this a full pour, hands down. I would drink it over and over again.
Yeah, so as he said, strong ale will definitely get that strong ale taste flavor to it. I actually get some of the bourbon up front, surprisingly, with it not being that warm. I kind of get a little bit of that bourbon to it, the maltiness in there as well. And for 10%, very smooth. So as he said, definitely could get you drunk if you're going to down this whole bottle by yourself. But I think I'm going to give this one a full pour as well. It's very, very good. I think it's going to be even...
I get the bourbon a lot now.
Yeah.
And taste it the first time.
Mm-hmm. You get a pretty heavy bourbon, but not super strong, you know, burning your throat or anything, but you get that nice bourbon flavor.
Right.
And I think as it sits a little bit, as he said, I think you'll get more of the fig and all of those flavors coming out.
It's very good. Cheers. All right, Moose. Are you ready, buddy? I know you're pumped. It is finally your turn.
All right. Let's find number 13. Lucky number 13. We got one for you today. Man, you were really excited about that one. How's it taste?
Was it good? Oh.
That's all we got.
It must have been really good today.
He really wants some more. That's it, buddy.
We have the Big Bad Baptist Chocolate Reserve, or Chocolate Rapture, I'm sorry. If you recall the one that we had last Sunday, so a week later, we had the Big Bad Baptist Reserve. And that was the one that we drank, gave it a 3/4 pour, then starting out this episode, we changed it to a full pour because we let it sit. So what we did today is we got this out of the fridge, we let it sit, and the temperature is probably getting near to what it was supposed to be serving temp. So none of the flavors should be affected, everything should be there, so we should have a solid rating. If not, I'm sure I will tell you next time if I changed it. So this is the Chocolate Reserve. What they do is they take their Big Bad Baptist, I'm not going to talk too much about it because we talked about it before, and then they age it in whiskey barrels, and they add cocoa, they add vanilla, and they add something else, coffee. So you should have like a little bit of, you should definitely have a roast because of the imperial stout flavor and because of the coffee. You should have like a sweetness of vanilla, and you should definitely taste some cocoa and some chocolate. With the name of Chocolate Rapture, you should be able to taste it. One complaint of a friend of ours, they had it recently and they said they liked the beer, but because it had chocolate in the name, they were expecting to get punched in the face with a lot of chocolate, kind of like Flying Monkeys, Chocolate Manifesto. Never reviewed that for you guys, but that is like drinking a candy bar. So we'll go ahead and give it a try and see if we get a lot of chocolate or not. Okay, so the beer's good. You know, it's coming in at 10.5%. It's got like a 414 rating on Untappd, which is pretty solid. Um, it's a good beer. It's easy drinking for 10.5%. It's got nice flavor in your mouth. But I'm going to agree with our friends and say that there's not a heavy chocolate to it. You know, I get like a little bit of cocoa on the back end. I get more of vanilla than anything. Kind of vanilla like right in the middle. But I don't get much chocolate on it. The beer tastes very good. But for the style itself, for saying it's a chocolate rapture, I'm not getting all that chocolate. So drinkability, 10.5%, very easy drinking. I'm a big fan of it. I like that a lot. Taste for style, I get the vanilla. I get a little bit of roast. I don't get much whiskey, which I'm okay with because I'd rather have a beer aged in bourbon than in whiskey. But I'm getting some cocoa, but not a lot. And because of that, I'm probably going to give it, our dog is here again and he's also really excited. I'm probably going to give it a 3/4 pour. If I'm basing it just off of taste for style, it would be a half pour. But because I'm reviewing how much of this I would want to drink of it, I'm 3/4 because I do like it. It's just not all the chocolate that I was expecting.
Yeah, so as he said, taste for style. It is a stout, double imperial stout, coming in at 13, or this one was 10.5%. So very drinkable, pretty easy, pretty smooth for coming in at 10.5% aged in whiskey. Not getting a full head-on whiskey taste, which I also agree. I like that. Bourbon, I don't mind having the bourbon taste, but whiskey not so much. I actually kind of get more of the coffee taste to it. I can get that roastiness. As soon as I put it up to my mouth, up to my nose, I could kind of get that coffee scent to it. Again, not getting a ton of that cocoa, a little bit more vanilla up front. So considering it's called Chocolate Rapture, you would expect there to be a ton of chocolate, but there isn't, unfortunately. So again, I think I'm also going to go with that 3/4 pour. Still really drinkable, really smooth, really great, but not chocolate if that's what you're looking for.
We're gonna have to get a Chocolate Manifesto and bring it on here because that is super chocolatey.
So for our next one, we have the Mexican Speedway Stout. This one is actually the 2018 edition. It is from AleSmith Brewing Company, which is in San Diego. We were out here, went to AleSmith on one of our tours that we were doing, which was a lot of fun. Fun fact, they are the top 10 best brewers in the world. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, they make some really great beers. The Speedway is one of their kind of lines that they make. They're known for.
They make a lot of different coffee variants with like Jamaican and Hawaiian, all that different stuff.
Yeah, one of the bars down the road, Cappy's, they always do a Speedway takeover, and they have like 30 taps of Speedway. Yeah. And they're about coming in at 13%, so...
You drink a lot of them, getting pretty drunk.
Yeah, so this one's coming in 13% again. Got a 4.09 on Untappd. It is 2018 version. They actually take their regular Mexican stout and put it into tequila barrels. So this one's supposed to taste like cocoa, vanilla, cinnamon, oak, caramel, and Mexican coffee. So obviously kind of like a Mexican hot chocolate as we did the other day. So, cheers. So taste for style, definitely getting kind of the barrel-aged taste a little bit to it. Not so much tequila, but kind of the barrel-aged. Definitely taste the cocoa, some of the cinnamon, a little bit of the oak, like roastiness. This one's really good, very smooth. Could not tell that it's 13%. So this will definitely get you drunk. I think I'm going to actually give this one a full pour.
Full pour, yeah. So we had this on one of our tours. Like she was saying, when we were in San Diego, we stopped at AleSmith. It was actually kind of an impromptu thing. Thank you, Lars, if you're watching this. It was fantastic. We love that you just decided to stop there for us. And we tried a bunch of the Speedway stouts. And we get a bunch of them out here. We get the Hawaiian, the Jamaican, the blue, like some other variants. But for some reason, when the Mexican Speedway Stout hits out here, it's like the first thing gone. And it's one of the lower rated untapped beers, untapped variants of it. But it's gone in a heartbeat out here.
It's delicious.
And it's really good. So it was 4.09 for the 2018 version, but I think the regular version is somewhere like in the 4.2s. So on tap, like sometimes they'll put the year on there, or sometimes they'll have the regular, just depending on how people check in will affect it. Some years will be much lower than other years, kind of like this one. But drinkability, 13.1%, 13%. It's extremely incredibly smooth. Like you don't really get any alcohol taste. You do get that bourbon, or not bourbon, but you do get the barrel. You do get tequila. You do get a little bit of barrel. So it is like a little bit of boozy, but it's not like alcohol boozy.
Right.
So it's very nice. It's just good. You know, it just tastes good on your palate. I get the Mexican coffee in there because that also has a distinct taste. We've had a couple other Mexican coffee style beers and it has a distinct taste. So I'm getting that. Very easily drinkable. Taste for style. Tastes like everything it's supposed to. My final overall rating is going to be a full pour as well. I really liked this one when we had it on tap there. It wasn't the 2018 version. It was the 2019 version. That one was really good. This one's also really good. I'm glad we were able to grab a bottle of it. Not disappointed, yeah. So full pour for me as well. So, all right, Moose, are you ready, buddy?
All right, buddy, here we go. You get 2 today. That's exciting. Here is a bunch in this one. Let's give you 2 of these.
Are they the stars?
Yeah, little stars. All right.
He likes those stars.
And then let's do number 15.
Look at him digging in there for more stars.
Oh, there you go. You got that one. Was it good? Yum. Good boy.
All right, Moose.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. What'd you think?
Was it good?
And
Tell Daddy. Was it good? You want more?
he wants the stars again.